Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stock Report. Today is May 9th, 2018, and of course, it's a Wednesday. How's everyone's week going? Had to close the door. Everyone's having a fantastic week. It looks like we're having a nice little rebound in the market. We'll start off with the Dow, and we'll go through some of my favorite stocks I may either own or would like to trade. So this might be a little longer video, but I think we have a lot to talk about. I haven't created a video since the market ended last week. So we have a lot to talk about, as I said. So let's just start off by looking at the Dow. Broke through that secondary level, as you can see right here, and that's always a good sign. I may have mentioned last week that I thought we may have a bounce because we have this stochastics that's getting quite in the a touch in the oversold territory. I wouldn't say, extreme one way or the other, but you know what? Honestly, tomorrow I wouldn't be surprised if we had a pullback. We've had a nice past few days. Volume wasn't very impressive though. So is it sustaining? Maybe. I think we're due for a pullback, which is I feel is a healthy. It's just very healthy to have these pullbacks. You don't want anything to go straight up. So let's start digging down into some details. For our Canadian friends, Aurora Cannabis, quite boring. Nothing really going on here. This is one that I like to track. It gets a lot of attention because of the upcoming legalization of marijuana this summer. This is one that I track, but I don't see anything really here of interest to tell you guys. It looks pretty, I guess, boring. So I'm going to jump over to Atmos Energy. This is a stock that I used to have many years ago, and I still have picked some up over the past 2 or 3 years. It looks like it's having a touch of a pullback. This one's a nice one to trade too because it's not that volatile, but you have good volume, so you can get in and out of it if you need to. But it's mostly, I believe, a natural gas player. But the company does very well. As you can see, we've had a good run up over the past couple of months. So we've had a little pullback, and if you own it and if you like to swing trade it, it's below the 10-day moving average, which is definitely a sell signal for the swing traders. But I would still like to see if we get above the old high of, was it 92, 93 area, that would definitely be a good sign to jump back in. So there's going to be some stocks in here I talk about that I haven't talked about before, so just kind of follow along. I'll tell you why I like these. So I believe I read about this one in the Investors Business Daily. It's been doing pretty well. As you can see, it had a nice bump up over the past couple of days. I think long term, I think that's what attracted me to the stock. It's just be a good long term play. As you can see, climbing over the past several months and looks good above the 10 and 50-day moving average. And we had great volume 2 days ago when this jumped up. Now, these types of stocks are going to be very interesting. As you can see, this is Baytex Energy. As you can see, we had some fluctuations. Great for swing traders. You can see it's pretty consistent in the past, getting up to 350 and then falling back down to 250. But with oil, the price of oil and the geopolitical risks that are going on now, these stocks, all these little small stocks under $5 a share that make money and have more revenues coming in and maybe have gotten slaughtered over the past few years, I think all of these, well, when do you want to get in? That's the question, right? I think now, I purchased some more of this stock actually the other day. Is it still a good buy? I would say sell long term. As long as the price of crude can stay up, I think these stocks are definitely going to be a winner. And as you can see, this stock got absolutely hammered from a few years ago. This stock has a lot of volume associated with it too, so there's a lot of, could potentially be a lot of manipulation, but everything is looking very positive for this stuff. I like this company a lot, and there's a few other that I'm gonna mention as they go down the list. I did own this one, but I sold out of it. Blue Green Vacations. not quite yet a buy. It may be forming a base in this area, and I think it can go back up to 24. We'll see. But it was an IPO back in mid-November. It's been doing very well since, so it's taking a bit of a breather. It's just another stock that I find interesting that's gone up quite a bit in a short period of time. And it's new, and there's a lot of interest in it. That's why I started tracking this one. Crescent Point. This is one I was kind of hoping it would kind of crash and burn. Nice jump up today, but over the past week or so it has dropped significantly. But this is one we're going to have to watch too in case it gets back over the 10-day moving average. I may just dump my put options, but we'll see about that. As a long-term play, Cube. I like REITs, and this one has done pretty well over the past year. I mean, it's pretty low maintenance. Like even if you bought back, say you bought back almost at the top in around September, this pays a decent dividend. But this is kind of one where you can either do some, you can buy it, hold it for a week, and sell it, depending on your strategy, right? This is another that's pretty safe. If you see it to go down and never lose more than 7 or 8%, you can get out of it and be like, oh well, wait and see. But this is one that's quite interesting because like I said, I do like REITs, and it's pretty low maintenance, and I think as a long-term play, it has some potential, even though the weekly chart is not very impressive. But I do like those dividends, and the ability just to kind of walk away from it, not pay attention to it every day, not to babysit it, unlike some of these other stocks. Synovus broke out a bit today. It's heading towards a high, which I've mentioned before. What is that around here? 1450, 1460. If we get above there, that would definitely be a good sign for them. I do also have some put options in there because I think it was getting too pricey, but we'll see. If it gets too far out of control, I'll get rid of it. Denny's has been a laggard, but it has stabilized, so we'll kind of keep an eye on this. I do believe it has the potential to pick back up. And these drops look like they're significant, but they're not really. From 17, 10 to maybe 16, that is a decent drop, but it's definitely not the end of the world, right? So let's see if I can get whatever we're at, 1.55%, maybe 10% drop, and it tried to recover a bit, but it's still up below the 50-day moving average. If I can retake it, I might jump in it. And this is why I just kind of keep my eye on. Here's one I haven't talked about before. It's done very well over the years. I've had this as a long-term stock, and it's Dollarama. It's traded on the Canadian exchange. It's kind of like the Dollar General of Canada. Right now, it hasn't really done anything very exciting. I just have it because I bought it at a very low price a few years ago, and I'm just kind of holding on to it. This is one I think has stabilized out a bit. Maybe there's waiting for some more good news to come along, but it is volatile as well. So as an example, I believe this is quite interesting. We'll talk about these drops that happen during the day, and I have a good, if I can come across it here, I will talk about it. I have a good example of something that went on today. EIGI, Endurance International Group. I just liked it just because it looks like there's a good swing in the day, so you can try and buy at the low side and make a couple bucks. I don't have any comments on the stock except just to let you guys know this is something maybe for hardcore day traders that jump in, jump out. Volume is decent, so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of day trading goes on with this. Here's the one. ENTA Pharmaceuticals. Okay, listen. What happened today with this one is because I owned it and I got stopped out of it. So what happened today, an analyst downgraded the stock. So I had I sold it, but the thing is, it recovered nicely, right? So I'm just going to show you guys on, let's see if we can get a 15-minute chart going. So at the start of the day, someone thought it'd be a good idea to downgrade it, and man, it took a big tumble, over 10%. I got an alert that one of my stocks is over 10% down, and I'm like, and it triggered, and I got out. Just had a trailing stop loss on it. But the thing is, it recovered nicely. So, you know, guys, I think this might be one I'm going to seriously think about getting back in. It's still above, close above the 10-day moving average. And, you know, these analysts, I'm not a big fan of stock analysts, okay? You might as well just throw your money out the window. I mean, honestly, stock analysts, I'm not real impressed with. And I have a couple of things, I have a couple of articles I want to share with you guys related to stock analysts. And you know what? Honestly, do your own research. Never trust these guys because they're a bunch of scam artists. Etsy was one that I did have. I bought around 25 and I sold it back, I'd say around here, around the $30 area. Today, some earnings came out. They were good, but not that great. But again, this stock recovered as well. So this is one I'm going to kind of keep an eye on. I just like their business model, and I think as a long term, it's done very well over the long term. And I do like their business model, and this may be one I get back in again. Let's see here. This one's an ETF, but this one I think I've mentioned. It's Fronsac Real Estate Investment Trust. It's a Canadian play. Pays about a 4% dividend and hasn't really done too much, but I do like it from a long-term perspective. Maybe you can pull up a chart and see what you think. Check out what the company does. It's pretty interesting. Hawaiian Electric is another one that's what I have to call low maintenance. Hasn't had a good couple of days, but it just closed below the 50-day moving average. If we're going above the 50-day moving average, I might jump back in it again, but we'll see. Maybe it won't. Maybe nothing will transpire. A lot of stocks will dip 1 or 2 days below the 50-day and then just totally recover, right? This is one I'm just going to keep an eye on. I like the company because it's an easy trade. Just like Huntsman, you don't have to worry about it too much as far as big swings go during the day. It's something you could, not like a pharmaceutical company where you may have a big swing if you have a downgrade or something. HEICO is a defense company. I had them, but I sold them because it didn't seem like the stock was acting right. However, if we can get through this $93 range again, and maybe on some good volume, this would be one I would jump back in. The stock has treated me well. And that's something I just wanted to bring to your attention. Let's see, Home Group at Home. I don't know much about the company. It came to me via the Investors Business Daily, and I currently do not own a position in this. It doesn't look very interesting right now. It's just kind of drifting higher, and the volume has been kind of lackluster. Huntsman is one I like to talk about. Let's see here. So today we had a really good day. We're up 4 and a little more than 4.5%, right? Will we get through our little resistance here? So let's see what the resistance is at. So what do we have here? So I would think that if we can get through here, which is approximately 31.49, it's going to be a little less tomorrow probably, but we'll say 31.50. If we can close above that for a couple of days, definitely a good sign. This might be a new uptrend for it, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I wouldn't be surprised actually, just from the bar, my line here, that could be down tomorrow a bit, but we just cleared above the 50-day moving average. If we can hold that, that would be a good sign for tomorrow. I like to keep a couple days above 50 moving average just as a general rule. As you can see back here, it doesn't always work out, but back here it has, right? So you got to take it with a grain of salt and usually go with your gut instinct. This is one Independent Realty Trust, another REIT. Not much action here or anything interesting. So in order to maximize you guys' time, I'm going to do, so for our Canadian friends, premium brands, I've had the stock forever. I just liked the business model. Weekly chart looks great. Daily chart looks so-so. I think if we can get above the 120 level, then it's good. They make a whole bunch of, this is pretty phenomenal for a food company. Food companies are typically pretty boring, but this one has treated me really well. One stock that I found that is growing and doing well is People Corporation. This is traded on the Vancouver Exchange for our Canadian friends. Has done pretty well over the years, but this is one you have to be a little patient with. They provide professional services mostly on the HR side. That's what my understanding. And as you go through here, you can see that stock really hasn't done much, but it's a growing company, so this may be one of interest for the future.